Well, then why aren't you doing something about it?
I am. I'm telling you.
Me? Why?
You know what section you're in?
Well, certainly. I'm in G2, Intelligence.
Then don't sound so all-fired surprised when I give you some.
Who am I? I'm a businessman. I was born in Seattle in 1955. I dropped out of Harvard to set up my own firm. In 1980, I licensed my operating system to IBM. I was a billionaire by age 31. I swallowed an apple. I stepped down as CEO of my firm in 2000. I'm an avid philanthropist. I am William Henry III. Who am I with the initials BG? Do you know who I am? How soon did you know who I am? If you knew quickly, then you might be good at the board game in this episode of Board Game Review with Jason. Welcome to Board Game Review with Jason. This is a video podcast where we'll explore various board games together. My goal is to take a game, show you how to play it, give you my review of it, and then give you some decision points so you can decide if it's a game you'd like to try out. In this episode, we're going to look at a game called Smartass. It's put out by University Games. It's for ages 12 and up, and the box says it's for 2 to 8 players. But if you have a larger group, you can separate them into groups of 2 to 8, and it plays just as well. On the box it says it's the ultimate trivia game. I wouldn't call it the ultimate trivia game, but it is a very fun, light, quick party trivia game that you can play in about 30 minutes. So let's open up this box and see what's inside. So here's what you get with the game. You get an instruction sheet, you get a board, which is a circular track ending on the donkey's tail, which is the end. And you move around this board with these donkey tokens, which are numbered and come with unique colors as their bases. And then you get 4 decks of cards. You have the Who Am I, Where Am I, What Am I, and Hard-Ass card stacks. You get 2 dice. You get a numbered dice and a dice with colors around it. So that's what you get with the game. Let's see how it all comes together in the flow of play. So to start the game, somebody is going to become the start player for the round and become the reader in the round. And the reader rolls the colored die, and this colored die has colors on it corresponding to these 3 decks, the What Am I, Where Am I, and Who Am I cards. And whatever color the reader rolls, in this case green, they would draw a card from that deck, in this case it's Where Am I, and start reading the clues. On each card there are 10 clues proceeding from the most general to most specific. And then it has the answer at the bottom. And so the reader is going to start reading these clues from top to bottom, from the general to the specific, and then the other players or team can yell out the answer as soon as they know it. But if you answer too quickly, it may be wrong, and if you answer incorrectly, then you can't answer again for that round. You only get 1 chance per round. But the first player or team that yells out the correct answer first wins that round and gets to roll the numbered die and move that many spaces forward. So if I got the correct answer and I rolled a 2 and I were the orange player, then I'd move 2 spaces forward on the board. And then the player to the reader's left becomes the reader for the next round, and you just rinse and repeat. Now as you move around the board, there are 3 special spaces around the board that you can encounter. When you get the correct answer and you move and you land on one of these special spaces, you react accordingly. The first special space is a hard-ass space. This is a bonus space. When you land on the hard-ass space, the reader is going to draw a card from the hard-ass red card stack, and the hard-ass card stack has 2 questions on it. You can just read the top questions or the bottom questions. It really doesn't matter. You just pick one really and read the question, and the person that got the original question correct and landed on the hard-ass space now gets a chance to answer one of these questions, and if they get it right, they get to roll again and move that many spaces forward. The second kind of specialty space is the dumbass space. When you land on the dumbass space, then you basically lose a turn. In the next round, you don't get an opportunity to yell out an answer, and you have to wait for the next turn to be able to move forward. The third specialty space is the kick-ass space, and if you land on this space, you immediately go back 3 spaces. So that's basically it. One player or team is the reader. They roll the category dice, pick that color card, start reading the clues from general to specific. Anyone except the reader can yell out an answer as soon as they know it. If you yell out the incorrect answer, you're out for that round. The first player that answers correctly rolls the number die, moves that many spaces around the board, and then if you land on one of these specialty spaces, you take the appropriate action. After the reader reads the 10th and last clue, if no one is able to get the answer correct, then the reader gets to roll the number die and move that many spaces forward. The game ends when someone is able to move onto the tail of the donkey on the end space. It doesn't have to be an exact number, but when you get enough to get to the end, then you win the game. So what do I think about this game? Well, the price is going to cost you about 20 or 25 bucks, and it can be found, it's readily available. You can find it at Walmart or Target or bookstores or your friendly local game store or online. Anywhere that sells board games, you're likely to find this game. And I think the price point of 20 to 25 bucks is good for this type of game. As far as the components go, the board has about the right number of spaces, and with the specialty spaces, it allows for a quick 30-minute game. The cards, there are a good number of them. There is a booster pack available if it gets too repetitive, if you play the game many times with the same play group. The cards are a bit slick, so sometimes it can get hard to manage the large stacks of cards. As far as the rules, this is not a complicated game. The rules sheet is very straightforward and easy to understand. The player pieces fit within the theme of the game. You know, you get the little donkey player pieces to move around the board. It's quick to set up, and you'll play this game numerous times, and so when you get your friends together to play this game, it's quick to set up and get going, and when you finish one game, it's very quick to reset the game and play another one. As far as the flow of play, what makes this game really fun is that everyone is involved. You're either reading the clues or you're trying to guess the right answer. There's no real strategy, however. It's just if you get the right answer, it's just a roll and move mechanic to see how far you move around the board. As far as player scalability, it says it's for 2 to 8 players. Like I said, if you have a large number of players, you can put them into groups of 2 to 8. But I found it doesn't really work well with 2 to 3 players or groups. It does work well with 4 to 8. It's fun with any in that range of players. The more players you have, the more interaction you're going to get, and so it's going to be more fun the more players you have. The replay value is pretty high due to the quick play time and the fun factor in the game. It can get repetitive if you play the game with the same play group a lot of times within a short period of time. The booster pack will help some there. I must admit I've only played this game with one group of people, but I have played it numerous times with that group of people, and they love these light party trivia games, and this is the game they ask to play all the time now. So would I recommend this game? Well, if you are looking for a very light party trivia type game, and you're used to playing something like Trivial Pursuit, I would highly recommend you try this game. Overall, the things you're trying to guess are generally well known, and so it's more about listening to the clues and trying to put them together to come up with the answer quickly than knowing these esoteric categories of questions. I don't particularly like a roll and move mechanic in games. So come up with a variant for this game. You don't roll the numbered die when you guess correctly. When you guess correctly, you're going to move a number of spaces depending on how soon you answered the question. If you answer it after questions 1 through 3 are given, then you get to move 4 spaces. If you answer after clues 4 to 6, 3 spaces. If you answer after clues 7 to 9, 2 spaces. And if you answer after the last clue, then only 1 space. As far as the specialty spaces, you're going to ignore the kick-ass and the dumbass specialty spaces. And for the hard-ass space, the reader is going to choose one of the 2 questions, ask you that question. If you get it right, you get to move forward 4 spaces. If you get it wrong, then the reader asks you the second question. If you get it right, you move forward 2 spaces. If you get it wrong, then you don't get any bonus move. But all other rules will remain the same. My observations with this variant are that the game length is about the same. More spaces to move the sooner you answer the question motivates players to answer even sooner. And there also seems to be even more tension in the game. It does give it a bit more strategy rather than just rolling and getting to move a random number of spaces if you get the answer right. So if this sounds like something you would enjoy playing with your group, I would highly recommend you go and check it out. Thanks for watching this episode of Board Game Review with Jason. You can find other episodes of Board Game Review with Jason exploring other board games you might enjoy by subscribing on YouTube at BGRWJ, liking the Facebook page Board Game Review with Jason, or subscribing to Board Game Review with Jason in iTunes. I want to keep doing these podcasts as long as I know that they are valuable to you, and doing these things help me to know this. If you have any feedback on these podcasts, please drop me a line at the email address boardgamereviewwithjason@gmail.com. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.